There's a common myth: small accounts can't become meaningful. That lie kills more traders than any losing streak. The truth is simpler and harsher. Small accounts don't fail because of size. They fail because of process and psychology. A disciplined trader with a clear method, patience, and consistent execution can transform a modest balance into a substantial capital base. It starts with understanding what scaling actually is, not luck, not bravado, but a deliberate, repeatable process. Scaling begins at the smallest level of behavior, the trades you place when the dollar amounts feel safe. These are your training trades. If you can't control fear and greed with a $100 position, you will certainly struggle with $1,000. If you cannot accept a small loss calmly, you will panic when the stakes are higher. Every micro-decision matters, because discipline compounds just like capital. Each small win is a building block. Each controlled loss is a lesson that prevents catastrophic mistakes later. The first principle you must internalize is risk management. Never risk an amount that can blow up your psychology or your account. A rule of thumb many successful traders use is risking 1%, 2% of the account per trade. That's not timidness, it's survival. Proper sizing protects you from losing streaks and gives compounding room to work. Scaling isn't about hunting the biggest win today. It's about ensuring you're still in the game tomorrow. Process is the engine of growth. Every trade should be deliberate, an identified setup, defined entry, stop loss, and target, a clear reason to take the trade, and a post-trade review. When you make trading decisions by habit, not by impulse, you create predictable outcomes. Predictability is what allows you to increase size later without emotional chaos. If your edge is real, and you apply it consistently, compounding turns modest returns into meaningful capital over months and years. Training your psychological muscle is equally critical. Small accounts are where you practice emotional control. Learn to accept losses as the cost of admission, not catastrophe. Learn to take profits without turning every winner into a gambler's streak. Follow rules even when instinct screams otherwise. This is where traders separate themselves, those who respond to losses with analysis and calm, and those who respond with revenge trading or impulsive increases in leverage. Finally, treat scaling as incremental tests. At each step, ask, did I follow my rules? Could I handle the emotional pressure of higher risk? If the answers are yes, take the next step. If not, stay and practice. The compounding of skill and discipline is what ultimately scales your account. In short, protect capital first, execute a repeatable process, control emotions, and grow deliberately. Small accounts can and do become large, but only when the trader is building the foundation first, one disciplined trade at a time. Risk management is the non-negotiable core of scaling. Without it, growth is fragile. With it, growth becomes sustainable. At the center of risk management is position sizing, the practical lever that translates rules into outcomes. The most consistent traders treat position sizing as a mathematical discipline tied to psychology, not a guess based on how confident they feel. About a trade, start with a strict percentage risk per trade. Common ranges are 1%, 3% depending on your strategy and temperament. This percentage determines the dollar amount you're willing to lose on any single trade. When you cap the downside, you protect your capital and your confidence. It's important because psychological ruin, the panic and impulsive behavior that follow large drawdowns, destroys systems faster than any edge failing in the market. Fixed fractional sizing is a simple, powerful method. Risk a fixed percentage of the account on each trade. When the account grows, the dollar risk grows proportionally, but the psychological impact stays similar. This preserves compounding while keeping emotional stress manageable. Volatility-adjusted sizing refines this by adjusting position size to market volatility, larger positions in calm markets, smaller in choppy markets. Either way, the objective is the same. Keep loss magnitude acceptable relative to account size and mental comfort. Another key is to always define the stop loss before entry. Trading without a predetermined exit is gambling. A stop loss defines the trade's failure point and lets you quantify risk ahead of time. Combine that with a target or a risk-reward framework to evaluate whether the trade is worth taking. If the reward doesn't justify the risk, skip it. Discipline in this stage prevents sneaky risk accumulation across correlated positions. Equally important is drawdown management. Decide in advance how much drawdown you will tolerate before you reduce size, review your system, or step back to practice. Many traders who blow accounts allow drawdowns to grow unchecked. A predefined drawdown threshold protects you from emotional decisions made when under pressure. Finally, risk management is a living discipline. Market regimes change, so should position sizing rules adapt to those regimes. Keep a trading journal and monitor metrics like max drawdown, win rate, and expectancy. Use that data to refine your sizing logic. When you treat risk management as a system, not a rule of thumb, you create a predictable foundation for scaling. Remember, protect the downside relentlessly so the upside can compound patiently. Compounding is the secret engine that converts small gains into meaningful capital. But compounding requires discipline, time, and a reinvestment plan. Many traders misunderstand compounding as an exponential get-rich-quick lever. In reality, compounding is a slow, steady mechanism that only works if risk is controlled and profits are partially retained for growth. The basic concept is simple. Reinvest a portion of profits back into the trading account while protecting some gains. A straightforward rule is to withdraw a safety portion and leave the rest to compound. For example, after turning $500 into $800, you might withdraw $100 for security and let $200 stay in the account to keep working. This approach preserves motivation and liquidity while allowing exponential growth over time. Consistency matters more than aggressiveness. Reinvesting everything may seem optimal on paper, but it increases psychological pressure and raises the chance of reckless sizing. Controlled reinvestment means increasing trading size incrementally as capital grows while maintaining your risk per trade percentage. If you risk 2% per trade, that percentage remains constant, but the dollar amount rises with the account, enabling steady scaling without emotional shock. Compounding also requires patience. The early phase is slow, gains feel small, and progress can be frustrating. But once discipline is established and the account reaches a critical mass, compounding accelerates. The key is to avoid the temptation to speedrun growth by increasing risk. Impulsivity. Increases in exposure destroy compounding by exposing you to big losses that erase months of steady gains. Another useful practice is to plan for multiple compounding horizons: short, weeks, medium, months, and long, years. On a weekly or monthly basis, aim for consistency and process checks. On a longer horizon, measure whether compounding is producing the intended account growth and whether trade selection still supports your edge. Long-term compounding is less about correct predictions and more about avoiding ruin and repeating a profitable process. Finally, document and review reinvestment decisions. A trading journal that records when you reinvested, why, and what outcome followed will reveal patterns and emotional biases. Did you reinvest after a winning streak and then blow the account? That's a red flag for emotion-driven sizing. Did small, consistent reinvestments yield steady compounding? That confirms a disciplined approach. In short, compound steadily, reinvest intelligently, and prioritize survival over rapid growth. Controlled compounding, guided by strict risk rules and patient execution, converts modest capital into meaningful trading equity over time. Proprietary, prop firms are powerful tools for traders who have proven they can manage small accounts with discipline. They provide access to capital multiples larger than personal funds, but they are not magic. Prop firms amplify both profits and mistakes. Success with prop capital requires rigorous rule following and careful preparation. First, treat a prop firm like a high-stakes exam. Many traders rush to prop capital before they've proven consistent performance and emotional stability at smaller sizes. Prop firms enforce strict rules, daily loss limits, max drawdowns, risk per trade caps, and often a fixed trading window. Violating these rules usually ends your funded access. Therefore, only approach prop capital after you have a documented track record, a clear system, and the emotional maturity to follow program rules without deviation. Know your edge before applying. Understand your system's win rate, average reward to risk, drawdown characteristics, and trade frequency. Prop firms are unforgiving to ambiguity. Documented performance lets you choose the right program and the right starting allocation. Start with the smallest funded allocation the firm offers. Demonstrate consistency against their metrics, then scale within their framework. Leverage is the defining advantage of prop firms. They let you execute trades at larger sizes than your personal account would permit, so when you apply your edge correctly, returns can multiply. But leverage also multiplies psychological pressure. Stick to the firm's risk limits, and don't treat larger buying power as permission to increase per-trade risk. The goal is to leverage skill, not emotion. Another practical tip: simulate the prop firm conditions while trading your personal account. If you're expected to maintain a certain daily loss limit, practice adhering to that cap in your small account. This builds muscle memory and demonstrates to yourself that you can trade within constrained rules. When you enter the funded program, these habits prevent instinct-driven breaches. Remember that prop firms measure performance in concrete metrics. Keep your trading journal meticulous: entries, exits, position size, rationale, and after-action notes on emotion. This documentation is persuasive evidence of your readiness and helps diagnose issues rapidly if performance dips. If a funded account begins to underperform, revert to the discipline that passed the firm's evaluation. Reduce size, simplify setups, and focus on high-probability trades. Finally, treat prop capital as a partnership, not a shortcut. Prop firms Provi. De capital and structure, you provide skill and discipline. Respect the firm's rules and you'll magnify returns. Ignore them and you'll lose both opportunity and funded status. In short, prepare, prove, then scale within rules. Prop firms are a force multiplier for disciplined traders, not a shortcut for the undisciplined. Psychology is the backbone of scaling. Strategy without emotional control is a recipe for ruin. As capital grows, fear and greed magnify. The habits that worked at small sizes must be preserved as stakes increase. The trader who panics at $500 will panic at $5,000. The one who chases at low stakes will chase at higher stakes. Managing internal states is the essential, ongoing work of scaling. Start with a trading journal. Record every trade's entry, stop, target, size, rationale, and your emotional state at the time. Review weekly and monthly to identify patterns. Are you overtrading after losses? Do certain setups trigger impulsive entries? Does performance deteriorate after a string of wins? A journal converts subjective feelings into objective data you can act on. Trade selection becomes critical as capital increases. Not every setup suits high-stakes trading. Focus on high-probability setups with favorable risk-reward ratios and clear structure. Avoid feel. Trades are chasing opportunities that seem too good to miss. Larger accounts require more selective filtering. Small edges amplified by size still need strong probability to remain robust. Emotional discipline is practiced, not wished for. Use rules-based interventions, automatic position sizing, predefined stop orders, and hard drawdown limits that force you to step away for review. If you breach a drawdown threshold, pause live trading, review your journal, and return only after a calm, evidence-based plan is in place. These mechanical safety nets protect your psychology when rational thinking is hardest. Another technique is to rehearse scenarios mentally and in small stakes. Imagine a sequence of events, a losing streak, a big gap against your position, or a tempting opportunity, and script your disciplined response. Then practice that behavior with small capital until it becomes automatic. Mental rehearsal reduces the cognitive load during real pressure. When reviewing trades, separate process from outcome. Good trades can lose and bad trades can win. Focus on whether you followed your plan and sizing rules. If you deviated often and outcomes were poor, fix the process first. The market punishes inconsistent processes more than single bad outcomes. Develop rituals to manage stress, pre-market checklist, post-trade review, and scheduled times to check performance, rather than continuous monitoring that fuels anxiety. Discipline often manifests in mundane routines, hitting stops without hesitation, stepping away after emotional trades, and keeping to your size rules despite tempting signals. Finally, accept that losses will happen. The difference between top traders and the rest is not the absence of loss, but the ability to treat losses as data, analyze, adapt, and return to process. Successful scaling is sustained by steady psychology, calm, rule-driven behavior. Under stress, build the habits, use the journal, select trades deliberately, and automate sanity through rules. Psychology is the engine that keeps the rest of your system working. Advanced scaling is where skill, structure, and opportunity converge. By this stage, you've mastered small accounts, practiced disciplined risk management, and used compounding intelligently. Now focus on diversification, rigorous monitoring, and long-term strategic choices that preserve capital while maximizing growth. Diversification is about controlled expansion, not scattergun exposure. Once your core strategy is proven, consider applying it to other instruments or correlated markets with similar behavior. For instance, a profitable Forex method might translate to certain indices or commodities if the setups and volatility profiles align. Diversifying into additional markets spreads idiosyncratic risk and smooths equity curves, but only do so after testing and small rollouts. Position sizing should evolve with your capital. Use techniques like volatility-adjusted sizing or fixed fractional adjustments to scale positions proportionally. Even at higher balances, maintain a controlled risk per trade, often 1%, 2%, because the psychological cost of larger dollar swings remains. The math of fractional risk keeps growth sustainable and prevents single-trade disasters. Monitoring your performance becomes essential. Maintain a detailed trading journal and review key metrics: win rate, average reward to risk, expectancy, max drawdown, and Sharpe-like ratios if applicable. Weekly reviews catch behavioral drift. Monthly or quarterly analysis reveals structural issues. Automated trackers or simple spreadsheets are vital tools for persistent self-feedback. If metrics degrade, simplify. Revert to core setups until performance stabilizes. Advanced compounding can include allocating portions of gains. Different strategies or income streams. For example, you might split capital so that one portion follows your high conviction strategy while another targets lower volatility opportunities. This creates multiple growth engines and reduces reliance on a single approach. Always keep each bucket's risk profile explicit and documented. Prop firms and external capital become more relevant as you scale. Larger funded allocations can accelerate growth, but the same rules apply. Document your readiness, prove consistency, and adhere strictly to program constraints. Use funded capital to leverage your edge, not to chase returns reckless of drawdown rules. When working with external capital, transparency and reproducible performance are critical for longevity. Risk control at high levels also includes portfolio-level considerations, correlation between positions, exposure to macro events, and contingency plans for black swan moves. Implement stress tests, simulate what a large adverse move would do to your portfolio, and set limits that prevent catastrophic outcomes. Advanced traders often use options, hedges, or smaller offsetting positions to protect large balances while retaining upside potential. Psychology remains central. Larger accounts increase the pressure to perform and the temptation to deviate. Maintain the same rituals, journaling discipline, and review cadence that built your earlier success. When emotions rise, simplify, decrease size, stick to the highest probability setups, and recheck your process. Finally, adopt a long-term mindset. Scaling is non-linear and comes in waves. Avoid the illusion of continuous acceleration, accept plateaus and temporary setbacks as part of the journey. Protect capital, compound patiently, and iterate on what works. The end goal isn't merely a big number. It's a durable trading business built on reproducible skill, discipline, habits, and measured risk. If you follow these principles, diversify thoughtfully, monitor relentlessly, and protect capital strategically, your small beginnings can become a resilient and profitable trading operation. Scale deliberately, measure everything, and keep the process intact. Success is the product of sustained discipline, not a single lucky trade.